Assistant National Coach Bill Zadick just got back from Minsk, Belarus, where the U.S. had a large group of athletes compete at the really tough Medved International. Got ourselves 3 medals. Let's start with our gold medalist. Jordan Burroughs back on the mat, first time since the Worlds. He got injured at the Worlds, and he went right back to high level of wrestling. Talk about Jordan's event.
Great tournament. He had 6 matches, so it was a big tournament. I think there was like 48 or something individuals in his weight, and a lot of the weight classes were deep like that. He was challenged. He definitely had to rise to the challenge, and at this point in the year, he looks really good. I wouldn't say his fitness level's at world championship level like he would prefer it to be, but I was encouraged by where he's at. He mentioned to me that it's 6 months since he had competed at the World Championships, which was the longest break that he had since graduating college. So I think he was happy and excited to get out there and finally blow the rust off. And it was a strong tournament. A lot of good competitors, several world medalists, and Olympic champions, and world champions. He did wrestle the Uzbek that he wrestled for the bronze medal.
Right.
And he wrestled him in the quarters, and then he wrestled Ali Shabanov in the semis, who now has 2 world medals. Jordan beat him in 13 in the semifinals, and then Ali dropped down to 70 kilo and won another bronze medal this year. And those were both challenging matches. Against Uzbekistan, Jordan jumped out to about a 6-point lead, and then the guy kind of came back on him. I think Jordan was kind of cruising a little bit more than he should have, and he really realized that afterwards. He said, I know I could have maybe got the tech fall, but I became too conservative. And then he was down and had to score some points in that semifinal match against the Belarusian Shabanov in his hometown. So you're not going to get any favors there. So he really had to dig deep and get tough, and he did. And then in the finals, of course, he blew the guy out. Looked very good. He's getting better. He's getting better. His technique's getting better. He's turned, I think, everybody except the guy in the finals in the tournament. So making some progress in parterre, and he's hungry to learn. He was his own harshest critic, and talking with Bruce and I along the trip on the return home, he had several things that he identified for himself that he wants to get back and develop and get better at. So a good performance, and I'm encouraged about his attitude and where he's going.
So a couple of bronze medals. You had Zach Ray and then Richard Perry, who's kind of making a run this year by making a name for himself. Talk about our bronze medalists and why it was important for them to do so well.
Yeah, well, it's always great to go over and perform and win medals when we're in Europe. And specifically this year, as I said with Jordan, the competition in general was about as strong as I've ever seen it. I believe there were 10 world and Olympic champions in the brackets, and then several other world medalists, 2 of which I'd mentioned already. So every weight class was really strong tournament. And so for Zach Ray to go over there and win a medal is, it was a strong field, and we're encouraged by his growth and his performance. The one match that he lost, he wrestled very well, actually. He was in deep on a couple of leg attacks and just needs to keep his feet churning to finish those shots. He wrestled that Zasiev from Ukraine, who's a world medalist, world finalist. Tough guy. He's big and long, and so if you don't finish your shots, you can't expect the guy to fall down for us. And he was in deep a couple of times, once on a really nice double leg, and once Zasiev got his legs back and started that chain moving, it makes it hard to finish. So some progress there and encouragement, but we still have work to do. With Richard Perry, a great kid. I've known him for a while. He wrestled for John Stutzman at Bloom, and now he trains at American with Teague Moore at their RTC. And when I met him with John Stutzman 4 years ago, he was a hard-working kid, had a lot of ability, and I really liked him. And fast forward to now, and he wins the Bill Farrell International in the fall, and then puts a Medved medal on top of it. He's really kind of having a breakout year. So he's really made a jump, and what he's doing very well. He's got a lot of great motion and movement, and his counter offense is very good. Definitely got to get better in parterre and some other position things, but really encouraged by his performance. Like I said, that, you know, another strong weight. The world champion Sadulayev is who he lost to, and you know, that kid's he's pretty impressive himself. So Richard, I'm really excited about him. I think the national team is excited about him and where he's going.
So overall, I mean, you had some young guys. You had people that weren't our top guys in their weights, but are definitely in the mix within the United States. How'd the overall team do? What kind of things did you pick up for moving forward?
Well, you know, every time you step out on the mat, it's a learning experience. So while we may not have had everybody perform to the level we wanted, you know, our national team guys, for the most part, performed. We had Frank Pirelli, who also wrestled for a medal, ended up 5th place, but wrestled some quality guys and did some good things. So we're seeing progress. We got to continue to build. We got to continue to get better and focus on key areas. Maintaining position on the center of the mat, head position, and fighting for the center dot is really critically important. It has been for a long time, but even more so now. It's position where we have to be proficient to get our offense going, to stifle our opponents, and tactical things like putting the guy on the shot clock. It's not so much who's the more active wrestler, but who's controlling the center of the mat is how they award that position. So those things we got to continue to improve on, as well as creating angles to get to our offense and some parterre. So, you know, those are kind of general areas, but what these kids learn from competing internationally, competing in Europe with, you know, most of the top countries in the world, Russia, Azerbaijan, of course Belarus, there were some Iranians there, strong competition. What they do with that information when they come home and they're at their home locations and training and learning, if they're working on it diligently every day, they're going to get better. And many of them, we're seeing the progress. You know, it doesn't happen overnight. We can't just pick up a book and read it and go win the Olympics. Otherwise, everybody would be doing it. So encouraged by our performance overall, but like I said, we still have plenty of work to do.
World Cup coming up. Are people excited about that? I mean, the coaches and athletes.
Yeah. I mean, domestically, of course, we're super excited to compete on our home turf, have all our number ones representing at the weights, with the exception of Jimmy Kennedy, who's moved up. So Coleman will be in there, Olympic bronze medalist, very capable guy. And then we're still working out our alternates. We're going to be really excited about that. Of course, we want to win when it's on our home turf in LA, and then build that momentum going into Las Vegas. So yeah, we're super excited. It's a key event we're focusing on, and the rest of the world is too. Many of the coaches that from the foreign teams while I was in Belarus were asking about it, asking Bruce and I and the other coaches. So I think everybody's excited to come to the World Cup and compete, and they're kind of looking at it as a test event for Las Vegas, competing on U.S. soil and in high-level competition. So it should be very exciting. It should be a great event for the U.S. fans to come and see the cutting edge of wrestling.
Outstanding. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.